So let's see. What do you play here?
So
I see you're
just
stacking with your team, so you're most likely gonna play off tank.
I play main tank in this one, um, just because
Oh,
the guy I'm playing with is he can't play main tank. Well, he can, but he only plays Orisa, and I play all the main tanks. I'm like, cool, why not? I'll just flex to main tank.
yeah. Okay.
Now, just for you to know, in terms of before the game starts, now it's a win to us, but I found it was a very challenging win. Um, Also by the fact that it gives a good variety of my tanks in this game. Uses Winston, Ryan, Winston, Ryan, and Orisa. I've also been reading a lot more, watching more videos on like team comps on what to swap onto to kind of counter what's going to happen. But yeah, you hear a lot more thought process in this video.
Okay. So, real quick, what I'm gonna be mainly analyzing this video is first how well you do your role. And then I'm gonna be seeing how also you set up plays too.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, this is honestly a bit of a weird position here.
Mm.
How what were you trying to were you trying to do anything at all or no?
My main thought process here was to see what they had,
Okay,
and then
okay.
I
So it's
saw
just basically info
scouting.
collecting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Yeah. Well, if anything, you are a bit overextended in this position right here when you're trying to collect information. Uh, at least you didn't get too far out and almost got isolated from it. Ooh. Yeah. Over here, you had to keep holding your shield because whatchamacallit, you're quite far from your team and you weren't able to do a lot of damage and you were forced to use your shield a lot in the beginning.
Mm.
Because you were so isolated trying to collect information. So I don't know what happened over here. How did you get so isolated from your team? Didn't your isn't your team pushing up?
I assumed they were. I guess maybe because our diva didn't pick. They were just waiting for her. I didn't. I honestly didn't turn around and look.
Because if anything, since you're playing Ryan Zarya, you as a team need to be moving as a unit. Oh, this doesn't look good. I see somebody doesn't have a pick. It looks like this guy didn't pick his hero, so there's definitely gonna be someone behind. So since you're playing since you're playing Reinhardt Zarya against a Winston composition,
Hmm.
you're mainly gonna want to play grouped up together. Because if you play split, then the Winston's gonna be able to take advantage of that isolation and be able to potentially get a threat off, forcing your team to either lose a person or invest resources into that person for being isolated. And it's
Okay.
not even intentional too. So if anything over here, when you see the Winston, you should immediately try to get your team to the point so that way you can play grouped on the point easier. Because if you play the point, that will force the Winston to play into you guys either directly or use the high ground, and it might be able to equalize your position a bit. Another good way to also play the point too is to take the high ground and then have someone drop, and then try to like create pressure from the high ground, and then maybe drop onto point and create pressure from the point. So that way it forces them off the point, therefore getting you guys the point. And then you guys will technically win the point, but the hard part is also winning the fight because you don't have a lot of offensive power to win the fight. So mainly you'll just have to be focusing on trying to like create space, create peels. You don't have a lot of offensive power, however your shield's gonna be very useful here.
Hmm.
Blocking Pharah damage and Winston slash Hammond dies are gonna be very important as Ryan. So let's just first talk about the information collecting here. I honestly think this is actually pretty okay. Giving out a bit of a peek over here. The only reason why I say it's a bit weird about this position is that if you look, you're kind of pretty alone over here. Like, if your team was actually more up with you here,
Mm.
then this would have been completely fine. So, uh, if anything, I would have told my team to basically just kind of like push up. If you see, like, once you saw the Winston and the ball, like, immediately tell your team push up. Oh, they even have a widow too. Tell your team to push up, get to point, play point, and
Okay.
then have the team play into you guys because you don't have a lot of things that you can play into them.
So explain that again. So because of the fact that it's Ryan versus Winston, yeah, Ryan versus Winston. Um, the reason why I want to play point pressure is because I haven't got the high damage output to go into them, so I have to kind of let them come into us.
Here, first I'll simplify it so you understand the basic of it.
Hmm.
Ryan can engage Ryan Winston can engage Ryan and also disengage too. Ryan can Ryan and Ryan cannot easily engage Winston without Winston disengaging.
Hmm.
So right so if anything, Winston has the control of when he wants to engage. You have the control of basically standing your you have more control of standing your ground because you have more power and damage and defensive capabilities, whereas Winston has more choices and options of when to do what and where to do what.
Hmm.
Is that is that simple for you? Does that kind of like
Yeah,
help you
yeah, yeah.
understand correctly? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying. So that's why I gave the suggestion of playing point because especially against characters like Pharah, Widow, um, Genji maybe? Yeah, probably Genji a bit. Genji's gonna still kind of eventually have to get close enough, and then you can probably do something about it.
Okay.
Genji, Widow, Hammond, Winston. For any heroes that have a lot of long range or like can basically engage you without you being able to engage them, that's when you usually like try to play defensively and try to mitigate as much of their threats as possible with you as Reinhardt and focus on trying to like make them as inefficient as you possibly can. Because the more inefficient that you make the tank and maybe make the Winston and maybe not just only the Winston but also like the DPS, the more easier it'll be for your team to kind of win that fight because they're kind of playing against a weak Widow and a weak Winston in that fight,
Okay,
making it
that makes
easier for them
sense.
to like take shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is that does that same principle apply to like payload, for example? Or is that a little bit different because you haven't got the objective pressure that
No,
is
the same
the
still applies
yeah.
because remember it's the same thing. You mitigate Widow, you mitigate Winston. You can't easily engage them, but they can easily engage you.
Mm,
It'll be more tough since some payloads will have high ground, and usually if they have more high ground the Winston has, the more options he'll have, and the more options the Winston has, the more dangerous he'll be. Because if the Winston has an option to create a very big threat and get a lot of value for his team,
mm.
that's where it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very tough for you to find a way how to like counter that or play around that. Sometimes you might even have to leave it up to your team to see how they play around that. And if they can't really play around that easily, usually a Winston who is just as like threatening and who's just as threatening and viable will usually be a better pick in that time.
Okay.
But don't underestimate Ryan's pick as a potential,
Mm,
because he can still put out a lot of damage if engaged. Like if you really try to pick on a Ryan, a good Ryan will know how to like push you back or make you pay for your aggression.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just the basic fundamental we're just gonna try to get down here. This is a lot of damage you taken. I think it's a bit too much damage you took. Over here you took the amount of damage you took over here was just in my opinion a bit too much. It's most likely, and if anything, it's definitely because what you may call it, you weren't paying too much attention to DPS over here.
Mm,
You were in line of sight of the Widow, which means you definitely have potential to get headshotted immediately, losing half your health, and you also were getting shot by other things, so that would like giving you 100 chip damage, and that's why you're at 100 HP right now. Luckily, luckily Luckily, you kind of make it out over here. However, you shouldn't be playing like this. Whenever playing in front of DPS, or especially DPS that can definitely shoot you once you put your shield down and put hammer,
Mm.
always try to be conscious of when they're gonna shoot. So remember, um, Widow. So here's a few things about your DPS matchups. A Widow has to charge up her shot before shooting. So if a Widow decides to shoot your shield, you can then hammer or fire strike because she's gonna be busy trying to charge up her
Right.
shot, and then
Okay.
you can put your shield up again. So that's a good tip right there against Widow. I think you're also playing against Baptiste here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baptiste is also shooting you. So when playing a matchup against Baptiste, he doesn't have a lot of damage. I'd say like a good time if you really I say a good time to kind of like just basically hammer isn't really a lot of good times because you can just kind of like basically hammer and he doesn't do a lot of damage to you. Unless he puts out his fucking Baptiste ult and then just fucking like gets double damage, then that's good. Then that's the time you want to put up your shield, get into cover, back up, retreat, wait for ult to get off, and then you go in
Mm.
after ult's off. Because Baptiste doesn't do a lot of damage to Reinhardt, especially when you're at your armor peak over here.
Mm.
He can't do a lot of damage. But Widow is definitely something to watch out for. So, like I said, against attack with Widow, make sure to block your shield. And if she decides, the funny thing is that sometimes Widow will keep holding her shot, and she's just gonna like be waiting, like, "Yep, come on, put down your shield, Ryan. Put down your shield." And
Mm.
you know what's the funny thing about that engage? You know what's the funny thing about that matchup? If Widow decides to solely hold her scope into a Rhine that's shielding, all the Rhine has to do is just keep shielding, and the Rhine is actually making space. Or more like the Widow is playing into Rhine's trap card, and the Rhine's basically making space off of Widow's like blunder, which is basically not doing shit at all.
Mm.
Because she's like, because you're holding shield, you're blocking damage, you're pushing up, you're in a pretty good position over here where you have options. Widow, she's also in a good position too, and she has options. However, all that can be countered by you just fucking holding up shield. And unless she decides to shoot it, unless she decides to shoot your shield, then you can just keep holding it, you know?
I have a
That's
question.
a that's a good matchup against Widow.
Yeah, I have a question about Widow matchup as well. Now, this is more Widow versus Orisa. So I'm taking again. You won't really see it in this match, but I know I've experienced it in other matches. I know I really want to be aggressive with Orisa to claim as much ground as possible before I take any kind of damage onto me. Like,
Mm.
how do I? It's kind of obvious, but how? Well, in my head it's an obvious answer, but there is another thought process behind it. How do I approach Orisa to claim as much ground as possible, but knowing there's a Widow looking directly at me, so I'm at risk of taking 295 damage straight off the bat.
First off, how would I put it? Have balls.
Okay.
Have balls to fucking approach a Widow and say, "I'm gonna fucking survive you." I may not know exactly how yet,
Okay.
but I'm still gonna fucking not take that damn shot from the head. And even if I do, I'm gonna fucking live from it, and I'm gonna win the fight.
Hmm.
That's kind of like the usual mindset I have when I play Rissa against Widow. Actually, that's kind of the usual mindset I have when I play every hero. Is I usually just go and I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna fucking destroy your fucking team, and I'm gonna live from it.
Hmm.
That's the mindset I usually have whenever playing. So when you play against, so now talking about like the details of when you play a matchup with Widow versus Orisa, usually what you do is you would first peek to throw out your shield because it doesn't take you a long time to expose yourself. Hell, you could just be hiding behind a corner the entire time and be like boop, peek and then press and throw your shield down for like in that small peak point. In that small peak,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
and then you just like duck into cover, and then once your shield's deployed, then you go in because you already have like cover deployed. Make
Okay.
sure to just remember to make sure always to put your shield up because if your shield is passive, well, you can't do shit with the passive shield, and the
Yeah.
widow's just gonna be like, I'm gonna shoot the shield because the Orisa can't do anything with that shield, and if I can break shield early and the Orisa is still exposed, free headshot.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, even against the widow, just make sure your shield has purpose. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep. Anything else you want to ask?
Nah, it's fine. Just a thought I had. I know because it's like when I do Hulk versus Anna. Anna's got the same effect as a Widow does, in my opinion, about like hampering the aggression that you can take with a Hog. Very similar to how
Yeah.
Widow can hamper the aggression with your
Yeah.
Orisa.
Yeah. So I'm also gonna be seeing how you like. So over here, you're playing your match. I'm going to be test. I'm gonna be like analyzing how you play your matchups against Widow, Baptiste, and Winston over here because they're kind of fighting the three of them right now.
Mm.
So we'll see how you like handle this first fight. Because I feel like matchups is definitely gonna be something you need to improve on. This is pretty good right over here. I like how you finally put your shield down once you got out of like LOS of the DPS. Oh, and he also has Zenyatta too. I can tell. And you're pretty low, so yeah. So, oof, man, playing into Zenyatta as Reinhardt, that's gonna force you to be a bit more shield bot than usual because you're much more easier to kill, especially once you get discorded. However, if the Zenyatta does not discord you, or if you hear Zenyatta right click, or if you hear Zenyatta right click charging up, right click, fucking shield that shit.
Mm.
And if you feel, even when you get discorded, if you get discorded, shield up, get into cover, back out for a bit, especially if you see like a fuck ton of enemies who feel like they can kill you instantly.
Mm.
If you put your shield down, like never underestimate like being in line of sight of a DPS at this level. They will fucking shred your health and delete you as fast as they possibly can, especially if you have Discord.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was the weird one. Huh. Let me see how you actually went through this. This execution does seem a bit scuffed. So you're extremely low right now. You lose your Diva meh, and I think there's Arya? No, you lose your Brig. And then you lose your Zarya. Okay. I would have just fucking, yep. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see something here. Could you have killed that Winston? When you charged, did you do your charge correctly? Were you predicting the Winston's movements? Oh, you were, but you were predicting him going this way. Okay, so if anything, your prediction was definitely too early there in that charge. You should have predicted. You should have been like, you should have like kept trying to like analyze his. You should have kept trying to like pay attention to his movements as Winston,
Mm.
and right before you do charge him, then you adjust it so that way you have a higher chance of getting it.
Because
Oh well.
one thing that you mentioned to me before with Hog anyway in particular is like his hook. It's just you just it's quite simple, but you could say just aim and don't just throw. And then I was
Yeah.
watching a video of Harblue on like Temple of Anubis, and I like slowed down everything he was doing, and he was doing exactly what you said, where he just looked at the movement before he threw his hook. So he would wait for Hansa to do his this jump thing or Hammond to move. It was just interesting. Like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if I can make the conscious effort to look at movement, you make shots so much easier to make.
Yep. Over here, you did do that exactly. However, you did it. There's a mistake where you did it here a bit too early, and you adjusted your movement too early over here
Mm.
because then you're like too far to like get to the Winston. He reacted by like going right. If you kind of like held your movement right before you hit him, and then notice when and then kind of like and then like moved after he moved to the left, then you probably would have catched him more likely.
Yeah.
So yeah. Unfortunate. The Winston actually did pretty good over here. He applied pressure to you. He pushed you back, and the DPS just followed up from that pressure. That's definitely what you call a true main tank right there. So, are you guys still gonna keep bling goats? Oh fuck, my video's muted. Oh, they're trying to get more value by investing ultimates. That's stupid. Well, that's fucking diamond for you. Making shitty decisions on the fly. Yeah. What was? Wait, hold on. No, I didn't want to go there.
The tree
Let's look.
charge. Oh, because I saw Winston. I tried to hit him, but the tree was in the way.
Your flick was bad too. You were like flick. You didn't even know it was behind you. Let's watch this again. Let's just watch. You flick behind you and charge into a tree without even looking at the Winston. You're just like flick charge. Oop, charge into a tree. Whoopsies. Like, I understand that, but like, grandmasters just don't do that. What we do is we know where our opponent is behind us, and we flick accordingly to where they are, to where their position is, and then we fucking like destroy them. Either you fucked up your flick here, or you just blind flick charge. Are they seriously trying to fucking BM you? Investing fucking ultimates to literally win a fight that's already been won. I hope you don't use your ultimate here.
I do.
The fucking timing of that is just... Jesus Christ. Do you know why you should not have used your ultimate here?
I think we're down 2.
Exactly. What else?
They've just burnt ults themselves, so if we lost the fight anyway, we would have been ahead of ult economy.
Okay, that's a okay one, but there's another critical reason besides you just being down 2. Does this look winnable at all? Despite you
no.
being... Exactly. Why does it not look winnable? Why do you think you're going to completely lose here?
At this moment here, lamps up.
Okay, what else?
Mines on the ground.
Mines are on the ground.
No follow-up. Well, I didn't ask for follow-up.
Have you killed any DPS at all?
No.
Exactly. So what can a DPS do if they're still alive?
Widow's and... Well, Widow for sure. Who's the other DPS? I didn't see... Genji?
Widows, and they had a Tracer. So they
Tracer,
had Widow,
yeah.
Tracer. Widow, Tracer, Zen. What can DPS do if they're still alive?
Kill things.
Exactly. They can clutch out this fight, and they can easily destroy your team if you guys even try to, like, fucking lift a finger against them. Especially if when you're down 2. They'll be like, oh, you're trying to, like, fight back? No, I don't think you're allowed to do that. And then they'll just kill you. Boom. I mean, unless you fucking pull off some like domination alpha male bullshit where you just like fucking bend them over and actually kill them, then yeah, no, you can't do that. That's completely impossible right here, and you shouldn't have not like committed an ultimate to even like try to clutch it out, unless you, no. I'm not even gonna say unless.
So what was the thought process here? So I'm about to attack now. Pay attention to who still is alive in the fight, i.e. DPS.
Well, it's more like the main point I'm trying to make here is know if your game is winnable or not. Know if your fight is winnable. So, and then figure it out how it's winnable and how it's not winnable. If you figure out how it's winnable, if you figure out why it's not winnable, when you use your ultimate, then you'll kind of find reasons of why it's not winnable. If you find, but just so that way you don't take this too literally. Also find ways that are not so winnable too. You don't want to end up just like completely thinking like, oh hey, you don't want to only like solely think about why it's not winnable and then never use your ultimate at all. Don't fall into that trap, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
You just want to like take this advice as a way to kind of like discipline your ultimates and make less bad decisions of wasting ultimates, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was a suicide charge. I have a feeling that was just intentional to die there.
Yeah, it was.
They're just like, throw my ult, hammer it a bit. You know what? Fuck it. I'm giving up. I'm gonna die. Oh, good job. You're putting out pressure. You see, this is really good here. But you're a matchup against Widow. You ended up like you didn't shield that shot. So yeah. Usually when you turn corners around as Reinhardt, try to like just create an automatic habit of shielding, just like a tap shield. Just so that way when you turn around the corner, you don't instantly get fucking like boomed in the face with a fucking Widow clip, you know? And then another thing is that this right here is really good pressure against the Winston because you in a Ryan v Winston matchup, Ryan has more power, more damage, more health, tanking wise. Good job. Great pressure. Push up. You want to move as a unit. Oh, you don't want to be in the back there. Oh, fire strike that. Great pressure. No, don't focus too much in the back. You want to focus on going to the point. Hammond is a bitch, okay? Hammond is a fucking total bitch. The only thing Hammond can really do that'll threaten you, that'll force you to look at him, is if he fucking does is if he does pile driver. Because if you notice a Hammond uses pile driver and also uses shield, that's a definite time when you're gonna actually have to pay attention to him because he intends to stay there for a very long time. And he also tends to probably get a kill or create an extremely huge threat,
Okay.
forcing you to pay attention. Especially when there's DPS around, because a Hammond will usually coordinate with their team, with the DPS with the pile driver, because what he's gonna do with that pile driver, he's gonna send people up to do around 100 damage, shoot at the people while they're in the air, and also the DPS is gonna follow up from the people who are also in the air and half, and then just shoot them too. That's why you want to like pay attention to that. But you don't need to pay attention to Hammond if he doesn't do that, because if he doesn't create, because that's the only strong threat that Hammond can really create. Everything else he can only create disruptance. So, and if he creates disruptance, your goal as a team and as a player is to kind of like not try to get too affected by that disruptance, because in a way he also creates space through trying to get people to either look at him, get people try to disposition people and stuff, aka disruptance. Trying to stop people from doing what they wanted to do at that moment. So yeah, that's just something important against your matchup in Hammond. Okay, now you know what. So now you know when to pay attention. I mean, when to pay attention to Hammond and when not to. Not pay attention, commit to him.
Okay.
I would have definitely have liked to seen you hammer the mines actually, but then again, it's okay. You put down the pressure. I will blame you for this one. That McCree should not die to those mines. You should have definitely been hammering those as soon as the two others died.
Right.
Because you as Reinhardt are like the biggest counter to mines.
You mentioned before, yeah.
Yeah. So not clearing out mines here is just like, yeah. You still you leave that prone option to death to your team still there, unless they have to shoot it down themselves. I see kind of like panic. Okay. So, tell me about your thought process from this point here.
From when the Winston jumped, or?
Actually, I tried to go back a bit. This is actually pretty good. Right here. So from this point on, I want you to tell me what you were thinking here. I'm curious to know.
My thought process here was to hold the corner because they got dive, so I don't want to give them any kind of room, and I want to be on top of them, not to give them opportunity to move into space.
Okay. And then what did you think about that Winston jumping?
He gets wasted a cooldown, so that's a good opportunity for me to at least apply pressure or punish him.
Okay. So let's see. Winston used jump. You think it's a waste? Is it a waste, truly? Yeah, it's actually a waste. It's not. It's a very small waste that even I even sometimes make a mistake of. But it's a good. What you call it? It's a good mistake to definitely follow up on. Good job. Yeah, see, that's what you kind of be scared of Hammond is when he fucking pile drives, because that shit's on a 10-second cooldown. That shit can do a lot. However, Hammond decided to use it on you, which is stupid. Hammond's not supposed to use that on you. He's supposed to use that on the backline or something. You're not playing frontline a lot. I would have definitely liked to have seen you oh, you didn't time that right. So your position here as Ryan was also a bit iffy, because let's just kind of look. All the way to no, keep going. Fuck. Actually, no, way over here. This is good. So over here, the enemy started pushing in as Reinhardt. So what did you want? So once the enemy pushes in right over here with their trans, and the Hammond booped you back, you're over here. Where do you want to immediately be?
As
You have
in,
a main tank. You have the Winston you can pressure, the Hammond you can pressure, the Widow that you can block. Where is the best position that you can think of in this moment to basically position yourself to get the most maximum value out of your Reinhardt?
move towards the Winston, potentially try and cleave and hold shield because there's Zen or a Widow out somewhere.
Exactly. Now, why is that? Now, why that? Why that? Why that position? What's the main idea? If you know,
In terms of the one I just suggested, the one I'm doing now,
in terms of what you suggested.
it means that I am in the fight for longer. Sorry, it means that I'm in position to allow my teammates to be in the fight for longer. Therefore, I enable them to do more things by me protecting them.
Still vague. I want you to tell me the exact actions. Why can you not? Don't say protecting your team. I
Hmm.
don't want to hear what you're doing. I want to hear how you're doing it.
Um, by walking up to the Winston and hard shielding to block line of sight of the Zen and Widow.
So you're just gonna walk up to the Winston, but just heart, but then shield the Widow and the Zen.
I've got a hammer down, so maybe I could just go up to them and then hammer them down.
I thought you were gonna at least hammer the Winston for a bit, and also alternate between shielding too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, walk up to the Winston and swing, and then shield. That's what.
Okay, yeah, yeah. You didn't say hammer. I'm just so you're just
Ah,
gonna walk up to Winston and just hold shield in front of Widow. I'm just okay.
yeah, of course. Yeah. So
That
be
sounds so weird.
yeah, so apply pressure onto the main tank to disinterest them from onto my backline. There should be enough sustain on my backline to keep themselves up. But at the same time, by me being in front of Winston, like you said, I put a lot of pressure on the Winston, so he'll either stay there and die or he'll go away.
Yeah, you don't even. Here's the good thing is that you don't even have to put that much pressure onto a Winston. You can put a Reinhardt does a Reinhardt at 3 swings does 200 and I think yeah he does 225 damage. So that damage alone on a Winston can actually be quite good, especially if a Winston is playing aggressively, because that Winston is playing super aggressively. The good part is that he'll take a lot of damage, however he'll get a lot of value. So the faster you kill him, the more the faster you kill him, the more value you get out of your team for that. This Winston should not be playing this forward. So over here, you kind of just stay in the back line. I understand. Actually, no, it's actually completely okay. No, wait, no, hold on. You try to get to the Winston. Your team is still a bit exposed. You decide to commit to trying to kill the Winston. Is this okay? Well, if you decide to shield the Widow, it's not that good. Is there any better option here? Well, then again, you were booped. So, okay, so immediately what I can see from this position right here, um, if you notice, you kind of did have a bit of downtime actually in this fight. So instead of analyzing that point over there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze this point. The fact that the Hammond booped you back is actually quite shit because, yeah, oof, unfortunate. Now that you're a backline Reinhardt, your team is more prone to dying, and you can't immediately engage the Winston because you would have to walk up to him. So, how could it be done better? Could you even taken care of anything like that? No, not really. Actually, I don't think. Well, we couldn't have taken care of anything from that point there on.
I can tell you why I backed out into the corner because I was hard committing in
I'm
my
trying
head.
to I'm trying to analyze your rotation and
Mm.
see what you could have done to have not gotten booped that far back into the back line. So you're kind of rotating back here. Is this a good idea? Do you have to be rotate like this, or could you just play the wall more? Hmm. I see now. Okay, so this is actually kind of the cause of what made you have a bit of downtime in the fight and why your position was a bit passive. Um, it's actually because you ended up kind of rotating this way with Hammond. So So like over here, since you're kind of like playing over here, it actually would have been more preferable if you played on this side because first off, your team is actually on this side, and try to like play this corner against the enemy is kind of shit because you actually are more prone to Hammond kind of like booping you.
Okay.
And plus you kind of don't have anything to kind of like hit the back. If anything, I think if anything, you should have actually played this side more because your team was just basically playing on this side in general. So you definitely should like when taking into account of your rotations, when doing your rotations, do take into account the position of your team so you don't kind of like end up shielding the wrong side of the map
Right. Okay.
and end up exposing them.
In that situation there, then, because well, unless I obviously thought about it prior to, in that particular moment there, would there have been any way for me to have known my team would be on the left hand side, or is that something I have to, in hindsight, should have learned to do that anyway?
Both. In
Both.
hindsight, you should know that your team is going to basically mainly be playing around the center of point. So
Mm.
if you position around the center, which is on this side, you would have been able to more easily rotate to defend them. If you play on this side, this is like kind of like the side, and like unless you know your team is playing this play by kind of like looking back, um, then yeah,
Okay.
that's like an opposition. That's something that we might not be able to easily expect. Another good, more reliable way, besides hindsight, that's kind of like just a good, that's a good like insurer is just kind of like look back at your team because if you're gonna push out very far, always make sure you know where your team is, whether they're back or if they're on the left or on the right. So when you do make a rotation like this, at least specifically, you know where to rotate to them, so that way you're there to be their shield in case you're there to be their shield for important times. Okay,
Right.
yeah. All right. Would you like to anything else you would like to ask?
No, I mean like that's fair in terms of
Okay.
what I can do to think about because
Yeah.
in all honesty, if I was, let's say, any other hero, I would have played that corner. You know what I mean? If I was a DPS, I would have thought to myself, cool, I want a better sight line to shoot the target rather than on the right hand side of point because it just opens up the sight line for
Yeah.
them. So in reality, I should have been there anyway if I was any other hero. But because I was Ryan, I was already on the right hand side of that choke. I was already kind of there. You know what I mean? And my main thought process at that particular time was this is the closest corner to me. I'm gonna hug this wall since I'm here already. Versus if I was on the other side of the corner, I would have been able to rotate to my team. But again, that wasn't the thought at the time.
Yep. Good job. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of like watch this play through because really, if anything, the only important piece that kind of like determined the outcome of the McCree and your Zen dying your Lucio dying is just a small like bit of mistaken rotation position. That was a good fire strike on the tracer though. You like fucking owned there.
I'll be honest, I was aiming for the Hammond.
I know. Push. Ooh, who are you pushing on? All right. So one thing I like to do here whenever I'm around corners, just so you kind of like see how I like to do its technique, is because take a look, I'm kind of like not seeing the enemy at this point in time,
Mm.
um, and I'm kind of like not gonna be doing damage just yet. I'm also not gonna be setting up a fire strike anytime soon because it's on cooldown. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of like look back. I'll just like look this way, look that way, probably look this way, just see like okay, I have the Brig and the Zarya with me. Where the hell are my other three teammates? I know two of them are coming back from spawn. Are they close from spawn yet? Is my McCree on point? Because I know he's still alive and on point. Is he behind me? Just stuff you gotta know, okay?
Yeah.
That's when you're like doing nothing. So when you're kind of like doing downtime, try to look around, okay? And then immediately like switch, and then immediately flick back to your task. Like, okay, I looked, I'm looking back. Oh, so yeah. One thing you definitely just like allowed to easily happen, which you should not have allowed to easily happen, was that Hammond to just get that pile driver off of you. You should have blocked that definitely. Um, let's just kind of like look over here what you paid attention to and what you should have paid attention to. So over here, the Hammond obviously swings in. Usually when a Hammond swings, especially into the team, he might end up going for a pile driver. And if he doesn't, he's just gonna drop down and then roll away like a little bitch. But so just to make sure, whenever you see a Hammond rolling in, kind of like keep track of where he's gonna like pile drive, because when he's in the air, you're gonna have to like look up and shit. And then he's gonna like try to power drive it down. You're gonna want to be able to block that power drive, okay? You don't want to end up getting power drive, because then you'll be like suspended in air for a good amount of seconds, allowing the enemy to kind of like surround you in that small time window and get damage off of you, especially if you're not holding shield, okay?
Shielding stops the power drive from knocking in the air.
Yeah, you can block. Yeah, if you block it blocked. Power drive requires line of sight, and shield blocks that line of sight.
I didn't know that.
So
Okay.
if you Yeah, unless the Hammond literally just fucking bounces into your face somehow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's completely unblockable. So yeah.
Okay. Didn't know that. Good to know.
Yep. Yep. So that way you don't get power drive easily. Especially when you do get power drive, you always want to make sure you shield and that you block all the incoming damage. Like you see this damage right over here. Once you got power drive, should have been blocked with shield.
I think I was hard focusing to see if the grab was big or not. That's why I kind of, well, yeah, did what I did.
What the heck? Let's see what you weren't paying attention to that got you killed here. I know it was definitely a Zen Discord, because around here you ended up getting power drive and did not use and did not shield. This is something that shouldn't be like that conscious. It's something over time it's something that should be kind of like happening. It's something that over time should be close to subconscious and like just a second nature habit for you. So yeah. So if anything, you were not paying attention. So you were discorded, you were power drive suspended in the air, and you then took a right click to your face and did not pay attention to the damage. So yeah, I see you tend to have a habit of kind of like not being aware of like whose line of sight you're in. You just kind of like tend to just stay there and just kind of like fight like a fucking chicken with his head off, not seeing where shit is, and you just get like fucking shot for it, and you don't put your shield up and you die for it. So you gotta pay attention to where the enemies are, because you really do not want to get you. Look at this, 2,000 HP shield, 0 health. I'm pretty sure all that should have went to your shield. Oh my god, that Lucio fucking threw. He literally beat it into a Winston barrier. And your team's gonna lose that fight. Oof. Completely understandable, you trying to stall from point. Also want to race switch Hammond, okay. Oh my god, what? Oh my god, your Hammond's throwing, no! Your freaking Batsian was supposed to touch. Oh, that's a big throw right there. Unfortunate. Oh well. GG's, go again next round. Batsian has a lot to think about. Alright, so you're playing Orisa. Ooh, interesting. Huh. I usually favor her on the side that plays Reinhardt more, because I get to push up and have more options. But let's see how you play this Orisa game. I'm gonna be wanting to see what you do with your shield, see how much value you can get out of place in your shield, and also how you get value out of place in your pulls. Let's see. Was that a good shield?
I know it wasn't. I hit the bottom of the stairs, so my head was exposed. No, didn't really block.
Why
anything.
wasn't it a good shield? You said it exposed you. What?
Because I fired it at the bottom. Because I know I did this habit with the wrist on this particular map. I fired at the bottom of the stairs. It doesn't really block anything.
I'm sorry, you completely cut out.
I fired my shield at the bottom of the stairs, opposed to the top of the stairs, and it didn't block anything.
You look like you wanted to place a shield onto point and then play point. Is that what you wanted to do? Or did you want to play the corridor? What was the idea?
It's half and half. I think I just indecisive.
Okay, so when having an idea and you kind of put out your execution, trying to not blame the idea. Don't blame the execution. Don't say, oh, the shield was bad because I placed the shield out. Like, first, look at the idea. Why did I place my shield out there? What was it for? It was obviously because you wanted to play point, but then the point was kind of like immediately overrun by a bunch of dive fuckers, and then you had to like immediately play back, and then you had no shield to kind of play back. If anything, this is completely helpless. If you probably knew that people would have bursted the shield like that fucking quickly, you probably should have just placed the shield in the corridor. If even if they were like that, even if they would have pressured you with the choke, like it's completely fine. Your shield wasn't that bad here. You didn't. First off, you didn't even collect any information. So if it's really just kind of like the setup before you put your shield down, like, hey, what do you know so far? I don't know anything. I just know that I'm going to point, and then I'm probably going to be going against an enemy team on point. Boom. That's all you know. And you place your shield on point, then they immediately bursted it down. You're forced to choke, and fuck. The shield was fine. Do you know what was not fine?
I stuck my head out.
What do you mean you stuck your head out? You were out the entire time.
I didn't use natural cover.
Nope. Wrong. You did not time your fortify correctly. Look at your fortify. Pay attention to when it goes off. Pay attention to when it goes off, okay? Especially when you're exposing yourself. When you're kind of like around this 1 second, you want to especially make sure that you actually get into cover, because once this fucking fortify 1 second goes down, you're fucking like extremely vulnerable. That's why I ended up getting killed here, because you didn't pay attention to when your fortify went off and you're still exposed. You really are inexperienced against playing on stairs. So, do you know how to place a shield on stairs? While at the top of stairs?
No different than I would on any other surface. No.
Okay. How do I put this? Look down at the stairs. Like, literally look at it, because the angle is weird, you're gonna have to kind of like look actually at the stairs rather than just kind of like looking in front of you, because if you look in front of you, the shield, this is how it works. Oh wait, that's too steep. This is a more better slope. So when you place your shield, okay, you kind of like place it from a bit of a height. So when you kind of like place it, when you kind of like face this way, your shield is gonna have an arc. So it's gonna be like, wow. That's a shitty arc, but we'll just kind of go with that for now.
Yeah.
If you kind of, that's why, but if you kind of like look at the stairs, your shield's kind of gonna get that arc too, but it's not gonna be much of an arc to be able to place it actually on the stairs at the point where you want it, instead of accidentally like placing it all the way over here accidentally because you're like looking this way. Okay.
Mm.
So make sure. So that's how you place shield down the stairs. You should be focusing on trying to kill the deep. Okay, let's just go back over here real quick. So the mistake over here was that you did not basically try to get a pull onto the. You did not try to kill the McCree. You basically looked at the McCree and it's just like, but then you immediately looked at Winston. You didn't even like pay attention to whether or not if you had pull to like see if you could kill the McCree. Like you just saw McCree and it's just like, oh hey look, I'm a McCree. Shoot. Okay, I'm not doing a lot to him. I'm gonna fucking find a different target. When playing as Orisa and like trying to shoot a DPS, you should at least like consider if you have pull or not, because you definitely had an opportunity to hog hook and then pull. Pull into hog hook right there. Okay. but because you ended up looking at Winston, well, you weren't looking at the McCree. McCree just kind of got away with that. You
Mm.
should have definitely like waited to at least like get the pull off, call the hook, and like freaking pull the McCree, kill the McCree, easy win. You would have probably even killed the Zen too because you would have got them both in the pool, and if you pulled both and just got and actually killed the both, and actually like shot both of them just enough, you actually would have been able to like chip both of them down to like no HP.
I think I
So that's
turned.
definitely
I think I turned around to the Winston because there was a call out that he was in the back line or something from one of the supports.
okay.
But I agree what you said before. But that's the reason why I turned around in that particular
Yeah,
moment.
because you had the opportunity right there.
Mm.
You should have definitely taken it. But I were you even paying attention to your like your halt off cooldown?
I think I was, but then I realized that it was it was on cooldown still. So rather than me trying to kill that in front, I heard an initial call out over Winston, so I prioritized the Winston over me waiting for the Hulk to come off cooldown.
It's just 2 seconds. It's not that long.
Mm. I mean, in the moment, I was like, shit, I gotta turn around.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. I still think you should have like waited a bit before
No,
turning on to
yeah, I
the
agree.
Winston
I agree.
because it was such an important opportunity to kill the McCree there. Good pick. So one tech. So do you remember what I told you about the pull techniques back in the first session
Uh, don't
about how I like?
don't pull Hammond during a still animation.
No, not that one. I didn't talk to you about Hammond matchups. I talked to you about pull usage in general with Orisa. It was on King's Row.
Pull them out of position or into the team.
Okay, not okay. That's like a different type of use for it. That's more like a punishing use, like a use. That's like a punishing combo team play type of usage at the pull.
Hmm.
I'm talking about like combat usage, like how you would use it in combat. You know how to use a pull in combat. How would you use your pull in combat?
In combat.
Yes.
From what I remember, what you told me with Arissa's Holt, and specifically, it might not be in this particular situation, but specifically, I remember you mentioning using Holt to pull someone back behind your shield, to allow yourself to almost shield dance against them, pull them into your team, pull them uh, up. I think you said to me as well.
That's one of them. And then there's a second type of pull where you either pull them up or you pull them.
Well, down, I guess.
Yep, exactly. Down into the ground because it makes it much more easier to preset your crosshair. If you pull them down into the ground, they'll take much more damage because you already have your crosshair preset onto shooting their face.
Hmm.
So over here when you pulled the Winston, by the way, perfect pause frame. You just kind of like pulled him this way, and his head was over here, and you would have been able to easily calculate that. However, if you pulled him like down here, heck, you could even just like shoot your pull into the ground. You don't even have to like press right click twice, or you don't even have to press your pull twice because it's already going to activate while it's in the ground, and then you can just kind of like look at Winston's face as he gets pulled, and
Okay.
then you'll be able to shoot. You'll be able to shoot into his face while he's like still trying to get out while his movement speed is like slowed down very drastically. Okay.
Okay. I think the reason why I do that kind of pull out of habit is just it's more for comfort because I just like aiming left to right opposed to up and down. That's the reason why I do that. I know it for a fact. But yeah, that's just something
Okay,
to.
so yeah, you're gonna have to get out of that comfort zone. You're gonna have to
Hmm.
start learning how to like do down. You're gonna have to start learning how to pull into the ground
Hmm.
because there's so much potential there's so much dangerous potential pull into the ground or pull up into the air has. A pull into the ground is much more easier to pull off if anything because to pull into the air you have to press the ability twice in order to kind of like activate it. Whereas a pull into the ground can just require one input and you just like preset your crosshair in the meantime, and then they're gonna get pulled into the ground, bam, and then you just like shoot them in the face, easy.
Okay. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 6. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gotcha.
Are you? Good job. Is Hog fucking throwing?
I yeah. I called him out on it later on. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh, your friend is a fucking Pepega.
He told me after the match because like he already had whole hog, so he was trying to just take damage to help his supports increase their ult charge. That
It
was his thought
it's
process.
okay. I seen other people. I seen people die like that too. You want to hear something funny? One time,
Go
I
on.
tried to when I was playing a soldier just for fun. I actually tried to take some damage for my supports, but I accidentally ran into two mines. I ran into one mine that got booped into the other and got killed for. I was like, whoops!
Okay.
It was actually fucking hilarious.
Jake did that the other day for Houston Outlaws, but he walked up to a mine, hit himself from purpose onto it, then put his healing field down to get some extra ult charge.
Yeah. Ooh, was that even a good pull? No, it's not. It's a good pull because now since Diva got pulled, what? Okay, never mind. It's not a good pull because Diva should have got because Diva somehow got out. Let me just see. I probably miscalculated the distance that Diva could take.
I committed by using supercharger there because I thought she wouldn't be able to get into the window because her boosters would be off.
Yeah, I know. So definitely the miscalculation over there was just barely thinking that Diva could not make it, but she made it.
Mm.
I'm also gonna talk about your shield usage, your shield placement here too. I'm pretty iffy about this shield placement. I would have definitely have liked it if you probably placed your shield a bit more up and then rotated back. So like if the enemy pressures you like basically over here at this choke, if they decide to kind of like commit, so sometimes the enemy will sometimes you can fool the enemy, like especially a dive, by like having them commit to this choke and they'll try to play this choke instead of trying to like flank around you, and you can actually play. You can easily full of Winston into playing a winnable position, a much more easier position by just like playing choke here and just shoot the Winston because the Winston's gonna be like, oh, you dare challenge me? I'm gonna fucking walk into your barrier and zap you, and then commit my barrier, and then he loses his barrier, and he still has barely done anything to you because all you're doing is just taking 60 damage per second. No, you're not even taking 60 damage per second. You're taking like even less than that. You're like taking probably 20 damage per second. Okay, and the Winston's like literally doing nothing to you. Um,
So where would I be
because
then? So if my shield was there, because the reason why my head wouldn't have done that is because one, we've just capped the point. A hog just died, so I said to the team, let's back off since we're down two anyway. If I went
oh yeah, I
for
forgot about the hog. I forgot that hog died. I forgot you had like four. My bad. Yeah, so if you had a complete six here, yes, of course, to play up there because you can fool the Winston to play an extremely winnable position. He commits all his resources into that, and then you kind of like play a winnable position because you have more resources than him, and he's like less on it because he tried to play a choke, which Winston should never play choke.
mm,
But and if Winston tried to like play, and if Winston tried to play correctly and actually try to get a flank behind onto the supports, or the DPS, then you can rotate back
gotcha, okay.
and try to play more defensively, like around here, like where you're actually at right now. Then that's a good idea.
Isn't that too long of a gap? So where would I be standing if the shield was assumably in
It
the
actually,
choke? Where would I be physically standing? Because that's quite a long distance for me to walk back. No, to where I am now.
right around here. Oh, that's a bad color. Let me switch to a different one. Right around here. Like it's okay to be like it's okay to place a shield here, but you don't have to be over here. You can be
Right.
like
Okay.
be over here, be over here. Because as long as you can still look at the enemy while they're shooting you at your shield, that's good enough. Like hell, I could probably like play this like this like side corner over here, and the shield will like be all the way over here. And as long as I can see somebody from here, I'm just like okay. And then if I start seeing them try to hide from me, like oh hell no, you're gonna fucking die,
Mm.
or probably get damaged real hard. Unless I see something that's like oh wait, there's a fucking guy over here, I can't push up. I'll just like hey go. I'll even have like with this position, I'll even have the option of like not only shooting the person back over here, but I can also be like hey fuck off. It's very funny, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
really good position, you know. Unfortunate, but it's okay position. Oh, a bit slow on the shield rotation there. You had a small second where your bongo was exposed, and I thought your bongo was gonna die. So gotta be like a bit diligent on like trying to keep that shield up, you know. Ooh, that was a bad fortify. Why did you fortify
I
there?
know why I did that actually.
Oof. Okay.
Hmm.
So when you do it, kind of like blame yourself for doing that and try to not do that next time. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I recognize that was a bad. I mean, in game now, I recognize when I use Fortify wrongly. I don't know why I did
Yeah.
that, to be honest.
I feel like you kind of bottomed out a real quick bit there.
I get so disrupted by Hammond. Like he is really annoying that sometimes I feel like I have to do it. Maybe that's obviously that's the wrong thought process to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with Hammond because I still don't even know how to play him myself.
Yeah. That okay. I'll just say that losing this fight over here was kind of not your fault. You kind of were gonna get steamrolled over here because like the McCree, they had a fucking McCree dead eye, killed your hog. They had a Baptiste field. Actually, no, that didn't even fucking matter. They had a fucking Zen trans. And then what else did they have? They had Zen trans, Baptiste ulti, and a fucking McCree ult. So you guys were fucking dead. That was like 3 ultimates were put into that right there. Yeah, they were shooting past the ultimate. Holy fuck. Yeah, you were really getting pummeled there. What do we have to retake point? You have Torb and Moira ult. Alright. The amount of time it took to create. Honestly, here I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the most fluid Orisa play I would have done here, even as a console player. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this works with console. Look at the Reinhardt, and then look at the Reinhardt. Like basically have your crosshair like placed right over here, and then just throw your shield. Don't even like try to move your crosshair like down. Just like throw your shield out. And if
At
you
him.
if you angle it right, your shield should not land in here, but it should like land like right around over here.
Okay.
And it's gonna be placed so far up, and you can put so much pressure, forcing this Rand to actually get the fuck back. Very fluid play. I would have definitely liked to have seen that with your shield play on Orisa. Okay.
So this is my like 50-50 idea with it because I remember you saying to me on Junkertown where there's an occasion, yes, it was against the Bastion, so that's almost like different altogether because he has such high DPS. But if I fire a shield too far forward, as an example here, let's say by the time I got to my shield breaks, and then suddenly I'm like, oh shit, I've committed my shield broke, I'm now in a position where I have no abilities besides fortify, and then I'm dead. So my thought process here was go as far as I physically could before I felt any kind of significant damage happening to me, then place down my shield. That was my thought
If
process
you
then.
if you feel like you place your shield up too far, and your shield breaks because it's going up too far, that's not because you place your shield up too far. It's your position of your shield and it taking too much damage does not relate to each other at all. Okay.
Okay.
If your shield takes damage and it's bursted before you can even use it, that means your shield. That means they just have a lot of DPS, and that probably also means that you might have to switch to a Reinhardt. Okay, because a Reinhardt has more versatile shield usage. That's probably the reason why. That's the reason why I prefer using Reinhardt, usually over Orisa most of the time. Because with Reinhardt, I can always control when I put up my shield and when I can when I can use my resources. I have control over that. So yeah. With Orisa, it's a little bit less controllable because then I have to I can't move my shield and I can't take it back whenever I want to.
Of course.
But what you can do with Orisa is you can try to play a Orisa shield. What you can do with Orisa is you want to basically get as much value as you can out of your shield. Even if it takes a lot of damage, that means you probably should switch to a Reinhardt because if your shield is gonna get bursted down before you can even do anything with it, then you're just gonna you probably just need to switch to Reinhardt because Reinhardt is just gonna be better in that situation since you'll have 2,000 HP instead of 900 HP in that moment, and yeah, especially if the enemy has if the enemy bursts your shield down 3 seconds, not really a good pick for Orisa.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's a situation of where it's not necessarily the play, it's a case of the team composition not favoring your hero pick.
Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes there might be compositions that won't favor your hero pick. However, playing that certain hero pick that even despite the composition not favoring it might be better because you'll have more better options.
Yeah.
Compared to playing the actual composition.
Gotcha.
So Do you see how passive the shield is?
Yeah, this is. I don't mean this is what I mentioned before, where I try to walk as far as possible. I got damaged, but in this particular situation, because where my shield is, it doesn't allow me or my team to be as aggressive if my shield was further forward.
Yeah, so yeah, you kind of like had a small. So this is like a small mistake here. I hope this doesn't happen too often when you play Orisa, but this definitely should not happen when you play Orisa. Oh my god, he's trying to do a Poke Bomb shit. Good job. Okay, I would have definitely. Okay, so this is what I do. Wait, no, that's too far back. No, that's too far. Somehow went forward. That's not where I wanted to be. This is what I do. If I see Reinhardt shielding and he's low, if I see him do this, I literally just like stop shooting and I walk all the way up until I am literally butt fucking close to his face. And I'm just gonna be like, shoot you in the face because I'll be past his shield.
Yeah.
I'll like literally wait to shoot until I'm past his shield.
That's the exact process I had in my head, because you actually see me walking backwards and realizing,
Well,
shit,
you
I'll walk
shot
forwards.
your way to him.
Exactly, but I mean, I agree with you. But that's the moment where I walk backwards, realize, hold on, I'm doing nothing here. I go forwards, but in reality, I should have stopped shooting to get to him quicker, and then shoot him when in his face.
Yeah, you could even jump too, and you would have been, if you jumped and then shot after, you would have been able to keep the momentum.
Is that the same as D.Va, I suppose, as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You see how weird it is to shoot a D.Va whenever you like try to do a whenever you like aim your pull like around this part. You know how hard it is to like. You see how hard it is to like just like capitalize out onto that type of pull.
Say again, sorry. Against D.Va.
You remember that part when you tried to shoot the baby D.Va when she got out of her mech? You notice how hard it was to like follow up after that pull with your shots?
You'll have to go to that clip.
All right, let me go to it again. I think it was right here.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It was here.
D.Va's there.
Now pay attention to your shots. Wait a minute. You did no. This is not what you do with Orisa. You do not track a D.Va with your Orisa. You shoot into the ball whenever pulling somebody as Orisa. That's the first mistake. But the second mistake is right over here. Look how hard it is for you to follow up. Look at that. The D.Va first kind of like the D.Va like goes from here and it drops down to here. Your first off, your crosshair wasn't in position correctly, but even if your crosshair was positioned correctly, it would have been a bit more difficult to kind of like follow up because it would have been like boop, drop. I mean, I guess if it was maybe like more higher, which honestly is like hard to pull off on console, but say for instance this was PC. If this was higher, then it would have been more easier because she would have been longer suspended. However, since it's like right over here, it's kind of like this. This would be, instead of saying the sweet spot, this is more like the sour spot of where you just don't want to pull. Because then they'll be suspended in the air, but it'll be only for a short time before they drop onto the ground and start moving like fucking 80 strafe again. Okay?
What was the...
So might as well just like throw it into the ground and just like shoot him in the head. Place the crosshair there.
What was the first thing you said about the pull? Fire into the ball against a D.Va?
Yeah. When you put your ball right here, you shoot here. You do not shoot here.
Okay. Is that because the D.Va's coming out of mech?
That's because the D.Va's going to be pulled into this position. Okay. If you see a person here, where do you shoot? If you're pulling over here and you see a person over here, where do you aim your crosshair at?
Slightly to the right of the ball.
Yes, exactly. Because they're going to be pulled to the ball anyways. So you shoot you shoot slightly to the right of the ball.
What did I do? Did I shoot you?
Instead of like, you shot onto her.
Okay.
Like,
gotcha.
and you had to react to aim to moving this way.
Yeah, understood now.
Instead of just like being there preemptive. Yeah. Especially with the Orisa, since your projectile, you want to like aim onto the person. I mean, that's not aim onto the person. You want to aim where the person's gonna go.
In all fairness, my thought process here, this was a really passive shield, because I reckon I could have gone right up close to the Ryan. Because
Good job. Yeah. Here's the funny thing: you could even put your shield past Ryan and fortify just so that way Ryan couldn't have shattered you, but just so you could like kill the Ryan.
Yeah. Because the moment I fired that shield, I was like, oh shit, that's too passive, that shield.
Yeah. If anything, so this is one thing you can do in your games later when you go into later when you play as Orisa, is try to place your shield as far as you possibly can. Like test the limits that you can take advantage with putting shield up far, because the more further you put it up, the more value you can get. However, you also put yourself. However, there is a bigger risk to it,
Mm-hmm.
because the more further your shield up is, you're gonna have to like close that distance, and you're kind of like you're more prone to getting pressure.
All right.
This is a bit passive, honestly. I would have actually just kept. So what I would have done here is I would have kept scanning for information at the same time, keep shooting to get my ultimate.
Mm.
So that way, if I know the enemy is gonna like take this rotation, I would have known that ahead of time, because they would have had to walk to that place, because
Yeah.
I would have seen that from over here. Then I could have rotated myself, played this choke over here if I needed to, or maybe play that part over there if they are slow.
Mm.
Or if the enemy decided to rotate here, I would have obviously been ready for it. So you definitely should have like played over there, so you would have had information of where the rotations would have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I walked back as well, because there was such a long passage of play. Um, when we didn't kill the Ryan, I was unsure where everybody else was, but at the same time, rather than playing backwards, I should have actually gone forwards for me to scout that information rather than sitting where I'm sitting now waiting for them to come to me. I think
What do you mean go
that's
forward?
so I remember I think the reason why I walked backwards at this particular moment is because we didn't kill the Ryan, so wasn't quite sure where the rest of the enemy team was. So rather than me
Oh,
staying
you said
there,
enemy team.
yes, rather than what I could have done, which is stayed where the Ryan is right now to scout ahead of time, I didn't know where the other guys were. So rather than me risking it, I guess walk backwards. That's
Yeah.
probably why I did. I know that's why I did that. But again, it would have been better if I actually was further forward for me to scout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Because the more you know what to fight, the more you can prepare for, and the more you're prepared, the more likely you're to win to fight. Oh, that was so close. Oh, that's still not good. I think I might be only going up to these 2 rounds, because I kind of got to get ready to. I kind of get ready to go do some things today. Okay.
No, it's
So, yeah.
actually. Would you mind then seeing my Winston over my Orisa then, if that's the case?
You're Winston like right now.
If possible, it's literally at the end of this after this round.
Oh,
Your
okay.
choice, of course.
I guess we already reviewed enough about your Arisa here. I'm gonna wait. Hold on. I'm gonna refresh this page real quick and get in. All right, so we'll go immediately straight to Winston. So I'll probably only be able to do like 16 minutes of Winston.
That's cool.
That's it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, too far. Whoops.
Ooh.
Perfect. All right. Perfect. I love playing this high ground. The most standard high ground position ever. Because what can you do from this high ground? You can pressure DPS. Usually DPS like to go around here, but if you see them kind of like playing around over there, ooh, that's a bad. I don't like that color. Too dark. If you can usually if DPS play around over here, you can just kind of like wait and just kind of like maybe so you can get a jump over here, because right here as the goal on this high ground is Winston is to get a drop onto the enemy without using your jump.
Mm. I fuck up my jump here. FYI.
Did you even hold back on your analog stick?
I don't think so. No. I was thinking the wall was gonna stop my jump, but I just jumped over the wall.
Oh, that's not good. You shouldn't have done it like that. You should have been trying to stop. You should have tried to at least like hold back when doing a short jump. Don't use a wall. That's not good. You need to practice. You need to practice your Winston techniques correctly. What did you do wrong there? I mean, you got killed by the Hanzo. Hmm. Let me see something. My bad, I went too far.
So for me, when I was on
Holy
the
shit.
when I was on the ground, I was thinking, okay, shit, I need to do something, and I was thinking, alright, I see a squishy, and that was Zen. And then I went to go into the Zen, and obviously I died. So I was thinking, where's the squishy? Zen's by himself. I thought he was by himself,
Why is
obviously.
your diva over there? Your diva's like, hey, look, my Winston's gonna go in. Yeah, okay, see you, Winston. Bye. If you were that diva, I would have scolded you. If your Winston went in here and died for it. I blame you. This is completely. I solely want to blame your diva on this, but I feel like there's definitely some fault here. So I don't think we're gonna. Okay, so this part was definitely diva's fault, but we're not gonna analyze this part. We're gonna analyze a different part.
Okay.
Uh, Here, let me just like change my rewind forward to just like 5 seconds because holy fuck, it's so far up. Oh my god, why are you still 10 seconds? It's supposed to be 5 seconds. Back. No, that's so trash. I'm gonna fucking go to like 2 seconds then. 2 seconds will be fine. Okay, it's technically 5 seconds apparently. So over here you see the Hanzo, the Genji. Okay, yeah, it's actually pretty much all to analyze. It was really just this. It was really just the analog stick mistake. You should have just been trying to jump correctly. Another thing you could have done too is you could have just actually walked up to them. You didn't even actually have to use jump unless you're trying to do a burst out damage. Usually if you do burst out damage, it's mostly to get a kill. So I think you probably did this jump to actually kill the Hanzo or the Genji.
Yeah.
However, it fucked up. So yeah, if you didn't fuck up that jump, it actually would have been super good. That was your Diva's fault. We're just gonna blame it on her for not following up. Let's see. So your team loses the fight. You should definitely be calling for a regroup here. And my video is muted again. You are so exposed here. Like, you don't even need to be that exposed. Like, if you're gonna look at the enemy, at least have a piece of cover to kind of like hide behind them. You could even use far cover, like this corner cover right here. So, like, you see the enemy from this part here, and maybe this point, like, more to the side too. You would still see them, but then you'd be able to utilize this corner more.
Yeah. I saw that the moment you just played the clip there. That was really exposed.
Yeah. Why are you all the way back here?
Why am I? Just waiting for the regroup.
Why do you have to be here to wait for the regroup?
The furthest away from potentially taking poke damage.
Nope, bad answer. There's no good answer here. Trick question. It's actually you shouldn't be over here. You should be up forward.
Even though we're down, well, I would have a whole
Even
reset.
though you're down, you
Yeah.
have the ability to get out.
Okay.
Exactly. And here's the funny thing, you don't even have to get out immediately. You could use a shield, commit to like this position right over here. And if they really want to like act and if they commit more into this position, then you can jump out.
Okay.
Yep. I really don't like this position because now, say for instance, now you want to engage the Reinhardt. What do you do to engage this Reinhardt? What's the only one way you can engage this Reinhardt instantly?
Jump.
Exactly. And you know what's the shitty part? Once you jump onto him, you just don't. You're just over here.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
reason why I say it's
Makes
bad is
sense.
because like the Reinhardt can back up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, makes
the
sense
Reinhardt can
actually.
back up, you can get spammed down. And if you place your shield over here, it's not gonna really be a lot because it's not that threatening. You're like in a position where people can just like press S, wait for a bit once your shield goes down, then press W after your shield's gone.
I'm not splitting him or anything. Like it just basically jump in front of him. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So very passive position here. Hey, look at that! I was able to predict that before you even did it because I knew exactly that was the only option you could have done. And you know what's the shitty part too? You actually got very low before you even placed on your shield too. Yeah, suicide Winston, but you got your team a lot of picks, which is good. Nice. Bjorn fucking clutched that Genji bitch.
yeah.
That moment when Korean girl rapes Weeb. The tables have turned.
Oh, what a video.
Yes. I'll be honest, it's a bit weird of a position here. I would have definitely have liked it if you probably have positioned more forward. So like, let's look at this position over here. High ground, okay? Pretty cool, nice and stuff. I think rotation over here, like maybe if your Sombra, if you see your Sombra over here, okay? She looks like she's gonna EMP early, okay?
Yeah.
It looks like when she's gonna EMP, it's gonna be like right in this area. So where could you be for the best efficiency of this, okay? What's the best position to be if you're going to engage the enemy right here when they're EMP?
Right there in the EMP.
Yeah, right when they're EMP, what is the best position to engage them from? Here? I'm just gonna give you one option because I'm not gonna give you any sort of hint. I'm gonna make you figure it. I'm gonna make you figure it out yourself. Okay?
As
Best
in,
position to engage from.
as
Is it
in,
here?
well, as in the high ground I am now.
Yeah.
Um, Probably right in the corner, so that way I don't necessarily have to waste a. As in,
Actually, that's the correct answer. Yes. You don't have to waste a cooldown.
hmm,
You'll take a few bits of chip damage, but your healers are just gonna heal that up. You'll be fine because you should already know that your Sombra is going to be looking for an EMP. Okay.
hmm,
He's already in the back line. He has his ultimate. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna fucking EMP the enemy, and then we're gonna win. Okay.
hmm,
Okay. Boom. You fucking EMP the enemy. You win. Okay.
hmm.
Okay. So you definitely should have played down here because now that you play over here, bam, you had to use a jump. Now you have no jump cooldown. And you could have had a jump cooldown. Focus squishes. Why did you ult there?
I think I was low.
That's not a good reason. Let's look back over here. So you go up into the Rhine, you focus the Rhine, then you focus onto the Genji and the
I don't know
Winston.
why. I actually don't know why I did that.
378
Yeah.
HP. Okay, granted you were discorded, but 378 HP. You
Hmm,
could have at least afforded to die there because you would have gotten so many picks.
hmm.
You would have definitely have been fine.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Hmm. I genuinely don't know why I did that. I must have felt pressured or something.
You were probably scared. You probably didn't pay attention. That's why you panicked. I think you panic ulted.
Oh, yeah, I think that was it because I didn't feel that the follow up would have been
Yeah.
good enough with the mailed, so I just popped that. Yeah, that's probably what happened then.
All right. So now that the enemy is gonna be playing this like line of sight over here, what should you do? What is the best course of action to approach this? What do you think is the best approach? What do you think is the best way to approach this? Remember what I said earlier. It was about the main goal about how you want to engage. When you have a lot of high ground, what do you want to do when you engage? We'll first answer that question.
Um, I've, well, I'm gonna say create pressure, but that's such a generic answer.
Nope. You want to engage the enemy by dropping onto them. I'll let you finish it
without
if you
using
can figure it
cooldowns.
out. Exactly. So, how do you do that in this situation?
Right this
You
moment.
have a lot of high ground here. Yeah, exactly. You have a lot of. Remember, you have a lot of high ground here. Okay, there should be no excuse to not use the cooldown to engage them.
What I could do is I could literally, well, see which way they rotate, and then I just drop onto the point itself, create pressure, then jump away.
I'll just tell you, this is actually this is actually very tricky. I just realized it. You can actually jump here,
I can
because
jump across.
yeah, you can jump onto this high ground here, then walk around onto the enemy, then drop onto them. Because while you're walking, you haven't exactly engaged the enemy yet, because you're still in cover and you're still on high ground. You're still like not really doing a lot of shit yet. But then while you're walking around in this distance, and then as you're dropping, your cooldown is recharging. So by the time you start actually fighting and shit, your
Okay.
cooldown will already be up when you need to use it. Cool, yeah.
I would well, for me the reason why I didn't do that, because I first of all it wasn't in my head to do that, but I was thinking more of a case of splitting them in rotations. I was waiting for the whole bulk of the team to go across and then look to see who's diving late or who's rotating late, and this is what I did. But is that your option the better option opposed to what I did?
That's not a good option. That's what you're doing there is you're looking for mistakes in the enemy to punish.
Hmm.
That's not really that shouldn't be your first priority. Your first priority should be trying to play. Whenever playing against an opponent, a rule that Sun Tzu said: do not underestimate your enemy, and do not look for fault in your enemy, or else he'll find fault in you.
Okay.
Because if you look for fault in your enemy and they don't make any fault, you spend all that time looking
Yeah.
for fault in your enemy, and then they just played perfectly, and then you died because then you weren't actually like playing correctly.
That
How
makes
you
sense.
play
Yeah,
correctly
yeah,
is you do your role, and you do your
yeah.
role as effective as you can. Okay.
Yeah, got understood.
What else? Oh yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yep. What? I understand your idea behind this, though. This probably could be a punish. No, if the Moira is good, it's not going to be a punish. It's just going to be, you're instead just going to be feeding here, most likely, because then, 5-second cooldown. Yep. That shield's got a lot of work to do. Will your shield hold up? Will your position hold up? No, your position didn't hold up at all. And the Hanzo wasn't even exactly isolated, too.
Okay.
Because the Hanzo just jumped into his team. Yeah. Now this is the reason. Over here, just gonna tell you, this was complete feeding. You had no excuse to need to have used a jump to go into the enemy.
Okay, understood. I can
There
see
was
that.
way too much high ground here. The enemy was even playing near the high ground too. That's like even a bigger reason to like not to engage without jump.
Okay, that's fair. Actually, yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. Okay, that was a bit of a weird jump. Over here, let's take a look at Hanzo's retreat, pathway of retreat. Okay. Since this is very fucking pixelated, I'm just gonna assume this is Hanzo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're gonna try to jump onto Hanzo. Where would the Hanzo retreat? Actually, wait. Before we get to that question, first, when you're gonna jump onto a Hanzo, when you jump onto an enemy, what is the enemy going to do when you jump onto them?
Move away.
Yes, exactly. They're going to retreat. So now that we answered that question, where is the Hanzo gonna retreat to?
Backline or upper wall.
Yep. So the important thing to do is that when the enemy tries to retreat, you need to block their path of retreat, or you need to be in their path of retreat. So since the Hanzo is over here, in order to punish this Hanzo's position, you need to be in the back. You need to actually be his path of retreat. Because if he decides to go the other way, instead of going to his path of retreat, he's just gonna be walking into the enemy team. But if he decides to walk into his path of retreat, he finds you, essentially pincering essentially a pincer attack, pinning him down and possibly killing him. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Unless his team actually like saves him really good because they're good healers, then yeah. So over here, this was definitely something you could have punished. But you didn't jump into Hanzo's pathway of retreat. I mean, blocking and being the path of retreat is kind of the same thing.
Okay.
But I'll let you have that note as you like it. I'll let you interpret it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Look at that. Hanzo's trying to go back. And you're like, I'm gonna jump onto the Hanzo. Oh wait. The Hanzo has a path to retreat. Oh no.
He's gone. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Get on that Lucio. Kill that Lucio. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Okay. I think this is all I can review about Winston for now. Sorry if like you didn't
No,
learn
it's
a lot
fine.
about.
That's cool.
But,
I learned
I
a lot
hope
about that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay then. I gotta. All right. I'm gonna have to head out a session right now. See you later, man.
Peace, dude. Thank you again.
You're welcome, man. I'm glad to have helped you. I hope this helps you a lot.
It does.